So, we are going to be looking at a scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode, over inside of the North American Union, we saw them build up on their bombs as well as take out the terrorists that were inside of Florida, as well as invading into Mexico. We also saw the rest of the top five major powers being Russia, the Scandinavian Union, India, and China build up on their bomb power, as well as the Red Italians and the Dutch getting their first bombs. If you guys enjoy these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. And well, let's go ahead and get into this video. So over in the Middle East, if you remember, when the Cypriot Empire broke apart, the third son, kind of, or the stepson of the ruler, came to power, and the two regular sons of that weren't stepsons of the leader, they kind of wanted to start a revolution inside of the country, and they did. And after everything was done and done, we saw, these two split into two, this one being a dictatorship and this one being a democratic Cypriot. And both of them joined different alliances, the southern one joining up with Israel in the dictatorship alliance, while the northern one joined up with the Right Triangle Alliance, along with Turkey and the Kuwait and the Cyan team. And tensions break down and war starts. Told you there was going to be a big war. Tired of this exclave inside of the Syrian country, Syria is pretty much just going to invade into this area and start occupying it. And these guys aren't going to very like that. So what Cyprus is going to do is they're going to also invade into these areas of the exclaves. And then, the Diamond Alliance is going to go ahead and declare war on the Right Angle Alliance. The Right Triangle Alliance is going to be like, but you guys did it first. And then they're going to be like, we don't care. And so the war starts. We see Syrian forces moving into the Cypriot lands, taking over a lot of these areas along with the help of Israel. We actually see them connect up with this exclave right here and re-liberate it. And it's so far going good for Syria as they continue to push into these Cypriot lands. We also see Syria pushing into the Lime team slowly, and they're only going to get about this far until Israel's going to take over this front. So we'll see this be colored into a reddish color. And the Israelians, or I don't know what they're called. I don't know what people from Israel are called. The Israelis are stronger than the Turkish. And Israel is probably in the top 10 strongest countries in the world. So just know that. Down over here, this Cyan country is going to get absolutely destroyed. And the reason is, before these guys joined the Right Triangle Alliance, Israel was getting ready to take them out, and then they joined the Right Triangle Alliance, and their capital is going to get taken very quickly. And it's pretty much just a walkthrough of the rest of the country until they meet up with the Kuwait border and about right here. And then there's a bunch of defensive stuff right here. Although the Israelians, I'm just going to call them Israelians. The Israeli are actually going to be able to push into Kuwait, just barely though. The Lime team is going to see success in taking the capital of Iraq. And, Iraq is pretty much going to collapse. And with Iraq collapsing, we just see the Persian Union invading into these new areas because they want more land and they need more land. And, they're just going to take pretty much all of this and then they're just going to dip. The Israeli are going to take over the rest of this and just occupy it, even though it's pretty much just still Iraq. But with more troops being moved over here, we see a pushback by the Turkish. And, Israel is seeing how strong Turkey really is, and they're a lot stronger than they actually thought. Turkey is also going to be able to re-liberate parts of the Cypriots, as well as taking back this exclave right here, and wiping it out once again. But bad news, as Syria is going to make a small landing inside of the Cypriot island. Once this happens, a lot of people are going to sign up for the military. And, people have already been trying to get the capital moved back over to Cyprus. It hasn't been working, but now with all these people signing up for the military, a massive pushback happens, and all of these areas are going to get pushed back against. And then offensives are made into Syria along the whole border. Just like this, they aren't going to move super far into Syria. More bad news, as Kuwait is actually able to push up against Israel and while moving against yeah, can't say that word, I guess. And well, right here, we see a big happen, I guess. Yemen is going to declare war on the 3-Star Alliance. But the 3-Star Alliance may have just done something and made an agreement with the Right Triangle Alliance. These guys may have just joined the Right Triangle Alliance and, well, disbanded the whole 3-Star Alliance. So now Yemen is on the Diamond Alliance side. And, well, automatically this is going to turn into one of the bloodiest fronts inside of this war. We see Yemen troops making their movement into the UAE. They had more troops on this area because, well, they kind of want this because they may see some intentions up in Iran. But we see them pushing through these areas very quickly. And, well, they are going to get pushed back about right here. Well, not pushed back. Actually, yes, pushed back. Just a teensy bit. They're going to get pushed back right there. And, well, a defensive line is going to be set up along this whole border. This red team is going to get invaded a little bit, but these guys have a very strong army. And so we actually see these guys invading into Yemen. And to be honest, Yemen is very unstable. How it has lasted so long, I have no idea. Fascism may be still existent inside of this country. But once this happens, the people of Yemen are going to realize how unstable this whole thing is. Are they going to do anything about it? No. But even little Qatar is going to invade them. Somehow little Qatar is also making their invasions. And, well, they want to connect up with Kuwait because they want to form this whole union again. They split it up, but now they kind of want to reform it. So Kuwait is going to bring troops off this front line here to go and try and connect up with Qatar. And, well, they actually do, cutting off access to the Persian Gulf, to the Yemen, and, well, but this comes at a cost. Israel is going to fully take out the Cyan team. They're just gone now. And they're going to invade into Kuwait, and this is terrible for Kuwait as well. They had quite a bit of military stuff along this border because of Israel. And, well, Israel has just taken most of it, so that's kind of your fault on Kuwait. They just wanted to connect up with Qatar. More uh-ohs, as Israel is also going to make a massive push into the Lime Turkish team, and this gets very far into the territory. And actually, it's going to cut off these areas right here, from Turkey, and this is just not good for Turkey so far. They are winning inside of Syria, as Cyprus is pushing through these areas very good, and they meet up with their exclave, and they're actually able to re-liberate the entire thing. Israel is going to see how good they are doing, and, well, they know that the Lime team is helping them, Cyprus. But then they look over to Africa, and they realize that this thing is a part of the alliance. So what they do is bargain with Adaria. Join now, and, well, you can get land. And, well, the very next day, we see Adaria joins the Diamond Alliance, and, well, this is not good, as Adaria is the strongest on the Diamond Alliance now. And, well, Adaria, after these guys have fought in a lot, Adaria has mobilized a lot on this front. And, well, the whole thing is just going to immediately fall over to Adaria. Yeah, these guys did not last very long. Not only that, they are also going to mobilize against Carthage, or just Tunisia. And, well, Carthage had a philosophy of being peaceful because they didn't want to go to war, so they don't even have a military. And, well, that proves to be not a good thing, as, well, they're getting messed around. And, well, the Red Italians are also going to take Sicily while this is happening. And Adaria finally wipes out, well, all of these areas right here. And, well, now they're sending troops over to Libya. Not Libya, but Israel. They're also sending troops over to Syria. And this is, well, massive for the Syrians, as all of these lands are pushed back, as well as, well, these areas are going to start getting pushed into yet again by the Syrians. And, well, these areas are going to get into these areas. It is not going good for Cyprus right now. And, well, just for the whole Right Triangle Alliance. Right now, we kind of see a small stalemate, but over in the Turkish areas, Israel is able to wipe out this whole eastern area over here. So that is good for Israel. But after that happens, really not a lot of fighting is going to be happening around this whole area. And well, someone really wants this war to end, that being Yemen, because, well, their population is getting more and more angry. And, well, their economy may be going through the floor right now. Someone is going to pick up on this, being Sudan, who has lost a lot of valuable land over to Yemen. Sudan and Yemen absolutely hate each other. And, well, Sudan joins the Right Triangle Alliance. And, well, Yemen had pretty much no forces on this African area because they have all been up over here inside of the Middle East and, well, up over here. And, well, since there's no troops, Sudan is going to immediately just push through these areas. They absolutely hate Yemen. And, well, they're going to connect up with the Red Sea, finally giving them ocean access once again, and they're no longer a landlocked country. And, well, the same thing is going to happen up over here, meeting up with the border of Israel. And, well, all of these African areas are going to fall over to Sudan very quickly. Down over here in these entrance to the Red Sea areas, they're going to focus, well, Yemen has a lot more troops down here than they did up here because they make quite a bit of money through this strait right here. But that is really all they make. And, well, now we see just another stalemate. Israel did not see Sudan joining in on this war, so Sudan is going to push into these Egyptian areas of Israel and, well, pushing through these Red Sea areas, which are very valuable, trying to go up the Nile, which I'm pretty sure the Nile is right here. And, well, they get very far into Israeli territory. Let's talk about Libya, why don't we? Israel went to war with Libya a little bit ago, I'm pretty sure. And they won, so they took some of the land over here, and they also changed the government to a dictatorship. Well, they may be seeing a revolution. All of the green areas work together to try and reform the government of Libya. And, well, this is going very well. Libya had barely any troops in their actual territory. It's all been over here mainly, and a little bit down in Kuwait. But this whole thing popped up very quickly. And, well, Libya is going to be like, help us, Adaria. And Adaria is going to be like, we don't really like you. Why do you think we didn't send troops over to you? So, yeah, no. And, well, Israel is going to be like, are you kidding me, Adaria? Go help Libya. Adaria is going to look at Israel and then leave the Diamond Alliance. And this is, well, very, very, very bad. Israel, they just pooped their pants. So they're going to be like, fine, we'll do it ourselves. And they start a liberation area over here. And it goes very well, connecting up some of these deserty areas, as well as making a naval landing over here. And, well, just continuing along this whole sea area. And, well, they get all of these coastline areas. Israel also is going to push back against Sudan a lot as well. They take back pretty much all of these Nile area. But a very smart general inside of Kuwait is going to actually destroy Israel, pushing them all the way out of their lands right here. And, well, this right here, it's pretty much just a new government of the same country. So we see Kuwait start to re-liberate parts of this area, and it gets very far. They actually manage to retake the capital, which is a massive step for this whole war. As well, all of these areas are going to fall over to Kuwait, thanks to this new general. Yemen is going to continue to get pushed back by both Kuwait and Qatar. And, well, it is not going good for Yemen. They don't really have any money to fight back against these people. And, well, pretty much all of these lands that the Kuwait-Qatar Union had is now, they pretty much have it all back. And, well, right here is going to get pushed back, along with this area right here. And, well, let's just say all of the areas that Yemen has just invaded into have all just fallen through. And, well, now Yemen is pretty much being invaded on all sides by every single one of their bordering countries besides, well, Israel. And, well, Yemen can't really afford to build up an army. So what they're going to do, they're a dictatorship. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to start conscripting. And, well, this is going to go very well as well. They're being forced to push back against these areas. But then a military revolt is going to happen. These guys are going to stop fighting, and, well, they're going to go ahead and surrender over to the red team. And, well, yeah, it's goes pretty much as well as you think. That was a lot of people that just surrendered over to the red team. And, well, it is here where we see a familiar face pop up. And, well, Oman has, well, just declared their independence away from Yemen. Yemen is pretty much collapsing, as Sudan is going to take control of all of the African areas down over here. And, well, there are going to be people holding off against a lot of these areas, but Yemen is very slowly collapsing. Pretty much royal guards and more conscription is happening, where they're just being thrown at these front lines. Cyprus, now that Adarian troops have been pulled out of these lands, is going to push all the way back against Syria yet again. And, well, now there isn't really a way for Syria to stop this, as, well, they don't really have sufficient troops pouring into their country. And, well, bad news happens as the capital of Syria is going to get taken. It didn't even really need to be sieged. And, well, yeah, the leader of Syria, the brother, is going to be assassinated. And now there's only one Cypriot leader. We also see a small revolt over here, but it starts turning big as, well, it connects up with the Lime team. And, well, a massive pushback against Israel happens. As, well, all of these lands that Israel has invaded into get pushed back. Well, these Iraq areas that Israel is, it's kind of a puppet state now, are going to get taken over by Turkey. And, well, an invasion of Israel is taking place. And, well, it is not going good for the Israeli as well. All of Syria has just been taken, so great. But, has just happened inside of Libya. Rebellion forces are being actually kind of supported by Adaria. And, well, big FU as the capital of Libya gets taken. And, well, all of these areas fall over to the new Libyan government. Now a push happens to retake all of these areas that Israel took over inside of the war with them. And, well, it goes very good as well. All of these areas right here are going to fall back over to Libya. And, well, Israel right here is going to try and hold its last stand. They are going to put a lot of their troops on this front line with Kuwait. And, well, they retake the whole Cyan team right here, but are unable to push into Kuwait. They push back against Sudan, but are unable to actually push into the Yemen territories right here. And they actually push against Libya a small teensy bit, but, well, they may have just used up all of their money as well as all of their troops. And only like a week after they retook this, it's going to get taken back by Libya. And then a massive revolution, well, I guess revolt happens inside of Egypt, and all of these lands declare their independence away. And, well, it is just a massive civil war, I guess. Kuwait is now going to full send on this Cyan team, and, well, they pretty much take it all back yet again. Egypt is actually going to take control of the capital. Well, this new Egyptian revolution is, and they're going to move into these new areas right here. And, well, yeah. The rest of this is going to fall under control of the Lime team. And Israel, after being a dominant power for a long time, has just fallen. Now there is only one country left inside of this Diamond Alliance, being Yemen, and, well, they're barely even existing. And, well, long time no see, Babylon declares their independence away. As, well, pretty much all of these lands right here that were a part of Babylon go over to Babylon. Sudan is going to make a crossing over the Red Sea. And, well, they start taking over these small areas right here. We see this country yet again, if you remember, after World War III, this thing got its independence and then just got invaded by Yemen. The pink team also makes their return as they declare their independence away from Yemen. At this point, do know that there's probably a kind of straight through the Sinai Peninsula. But we actually see Cypriot boats make a landing over here. And they start moving up this area right here. And then, well, you'll see what happens next. Lime team boats up over here also make a landing and start moving down these areas. And, well, a massive encirclement is going to happen right here, just like this. The capital is actually going to get invaded by by all three, Cypriot, the Lime team, and Sudan. And well, the rest of this is just going to get turned into pretty much free land. And well, in the peace treaty, they're going to go ahead and divide it up. And well, there it is. The war has ended. And well, the Right Triangle Alliance has won. Let's go ahead and look at a peace treaty. First off, the Lime team is going to take all these provinces from Iraq. And well, Iraq is gone, I guess, again. And well, the Persian Union is actually also going to give up more of their land. They're going to give up all of this. Might ask why the Persian Union will do this. And well, they don't really care about land as much as they should. And well, they're just going to get pretty much what they invaded, but a little bit less. So Iraq has been divided up. Now let's see what Syria and well, the Cypriot areas get. Well, pretty much what we see is Cyprus getting all of Syria. And well, Cyprus is united once again. And something even bigger happens with them moving their capital city over to the old spot in Cyprus once again. This moment marks the return of the actual Cypriots. And well, this is a massive moment for Cyprus. Now let's look at Israel, at least the land that the Lime team invaded. The Lime team is going to take all of this land right here, and well, what are they going to do with the rest? Well, they're going to give all of this land over to the Cypriots, and I'll talk about this later. Now let's look at Kuwait and Qatar. First off, the Cyan team is just going to be coming back, and well, they're just going to be staying the same. We then see, well, the Kuwait areas taking over all of these lands. Let me color it all in. And well, they're going to look like this. And well, they're actually going to give some of this over to, not all that, but they're going to give some of this over to the Qatar side. And well, what is surprising, the people of these two nations, these two are very democratic, and they're going to leave the election up to rejoin as a union up to the citizens. And well, the citizens are actually going to say, let's not form a union yet. And so these guys are going to stay as separate nations, but hold very close relations. Now let's see all the lands the red team is going to get. The red team is going to take all of these lands down over here. Let me color it all in. And their new border looks like this. Now let's see what lands the UAE is going to get. And these guys are actually only going to take 4 provinces away because, well, now we need to look at Oman. So Oman is going to get all of these areas from the UAE. And well, not only do they get all of these lands right here, but they also get gifted all of this right here. And they're happy about this. Oman has just returned with quite a bit of land. Now let's look at the peace treaty with Babylon. Babylon is going to get all of the area right here, as well as getting some of these provinces right here. And here is what Babylon finally looks like. Now let's look at the peace treaty with this kind of blue country right here. So not only are they going to be getting all of this already, but they are also going to be getting some of these provinces from the pink team. And they will be getting gifted, like Oman, all of this land. So here's the final border of this blue team. Now let's look at the pink team. And, well, the pink team, what they're going to do is, well, they're going to ask for all this, which they're going to get, as well as access to the Red Sea, which they are also going to be fulfilled. The pink team is actually going to be getting a lot of land. All of this is going to be going over to the pink team. And, well, now they are no longer landlocked, and they're happy. Now I need to see what the rest of this area of Yemen is going to be turned into. First off, we see them breaking away this little area right here, which I need to change the color of. I'd actually be surprised if you guys remember this country, and you can't really see yet. But, yeah, if you guys remember this country, it was more in this whole area right here. But, yeah, they're kind of back, I guess. We see these areas being as well split into its own nation. And they are thinking about leaving this to just be Yemen, but they actually just came up with a better idea. First off, they're going to split a little bit more of this area. We see them splitting off these areas into a new pinkish country just like that. And now comes the fun part. And, well, Sudan, the Lime team, and Cyprus just do not trust Yemen, so they're going to divide up these last little bit. Quick note, this is going to be Yemen, but it is divided up between 3 powers. Cyprus is going to be getting all of this land for themselves, and yeah, they're going to be dividing up the capital province. Sudan is going to take the entrance to this whole Red Sea, and the Lime team is going to take the rest. And here it is. I did change it up a teensy bit to where I guess Cyprus gets the most. And well, yeah, Yemen is divided up. Just know that these three little areas together are Yemen. Now let's go over to these African areas over that Yemen had. Sudan is pretty much going to get all of their old lands back. I do think they had a little bit less down over here. But Sudan is now happy again, and well, they're going to be moving their capital again. Sudan is going to be moving their capital city right here. I'm pretty sure this is where it was before they got invaded. I just checked, and it was, so A+ for me. And well, yeah, Sudan has all of their old lands back. Now, what are they going to do with these lands right here? Well, they're going to bring back a fellow friend. This old kind of southern Egyptian country is back, and well, yeah, they're back, and well, they're back. Now let's see, well, Adaria is going to annex these two. And well, in one little chomp, Adaria is big. Adaria now pretty much has all of Algeria, all of Morocco, maybe even a little bit of real-life Libya. And, well, if you remember, the red team did get involved in this war a teensy bit, and, well, they took over Sicily. Now let's go ahead and look at Libya. And, well, Libya is pretty much going to be staying the same color, but, yeah, they're going to be the same color, but they're not a dictatorship. They're more of just a democracy now. And they're going to get all of their old lands back, which is always amazing. So Libya, like I said, they're going to keep their same color, and, well, they're going to get all of this land. Which does mean this new Egyptian country is going to get that. And, well, pretty much nothing changes with, like, the government of Libya. I'm joking. Stuff does change. It's a democracy. Now let's see what lands Egypt is going to take over in this Israelian area. Why I keep saying Israelian, I have no idea, but we're going to keep rolling with it. Egypt is going to take control of these lands, and it's fitting because, well, Israel just ruled over Egypt for a long time, and now Egypt rules over Israel. Yeah, they're not going to be keeping their capital there. And now what are we going to do with the rest of this land? Cyprus is going to actually take a teensy bit more land, and then, well, they're going to just stop here. And the rest of this is going to get turned into a new orange nation. Now it is capital time with the orange team capital going there. In Egypt, it's going to go to pretty much Cairo. The yellow team doesn't have their old capital city, so it's going to go there. Oh, I forgot about this area down here. Sudan turns this area down here into, not that. They turn it into a new country. And its capital is going to be right here for the pink team, right here. It's the only spot they have. This orange team right here. This country right here, which you guys, I'd be surprised if you guys remember, they don't have a major city. So one is going to go, I'm just going to put two down. One's going to go right there and one right here, with them putting their capital city right here. This country's probably cooked because it's desert. Oman is going to put it back at their old capital city. The pink team, well, they're just going to put it here. The blue team is going to put it here. Baby Loon is going to put it here. And, well, there is episode 61, I'm pretty sure. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and let's, yeah. Bye-bye. And, well, here's the end card. I know I already did one today, but don't worry about that. There is no image of the day today. 1,100 by the time I'm recording this. Yeah, get to that 5,000 end of your sub goal. Member shoutouts, Darklight, King Cheese, Gail Martinez, PJ Likes Shadow, Medlem, and Eddie. Make sure you guys go check out all of their channels. And then daily news. Yeah, there it is. I'm not going to read it because, yeah, I don't see it yet, to be honest. And, well, yeah, adios, amigos. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.